This is the School Success Podcast, a podcast for school leaders to learn from other school leaders what's working and what's not, and to get inspiration and encouragement, as well as strategies to grow school enrollment, connect with families, retain teachers, recruit teachers, and everything in between. You guys are heroes, and I cannot thank you enough for pouring into this next generation that's coming behind us. My goal is you will take at least one thing away from every episode that you can take back to your school to make it better than it is right now. Please enjoy the School Success Podcast. This podcast is brought to you by the Herzog Foundation.
Time for school.
Hey, School Success Makers. Welcome to another edition of the School Success Podcast. I'm your host, Mitchell Slater, and we're back for week 2 of our, I think it's going to be 8-week series all about marketing and enrollment and helping you guys with this great enrollment season that we're here. It's here again. It comes every year, obviously same time each year. So I wanted to bring you guys some actionable strategies and some tips that you guys can do to help with the enrollment season. And if you listen to last week's episode, which if you haven't, I encourage you to go back and listen to last week's episode. I think it's right around that 10-minute mark, which is what I'm shooting for each of these episodes the next few weeks. Is to be right around 10 minutes. You can come in, learn some things to use for your enrollment season, and then go right back to whatever it is you guys are doing. You guys are busy. You're running schools. You're helping people out. So go back and listen to last week's episode. We were talking all about surveying families and how you should be surveying families throughout the year, at least once a year, to get a judge on kind of like where are people at, how are they doing? And then if they share information with you, you can go, oh, let's take that information and actually make the school better with that information, or use it to communicate with families so you can hopefully keep them from leaving if it's something that maybe they're frustrated about. I dive into a little bit more in detail for last week. Go listen to that one. But we're jumping into number 2 for this week, which is to define your ideal family. So this is more so about building a target persona. And if you haven't heard that terminology before, it's really just in simple terms, like who is the person, the family that you want at your school? Now, this is going to be different for every school. Of course, you got public schools, charter schools, Montessori schools, Christian schools, classical schools, Waldorf schools, micro schools. I mean, my goodness, there's so many different types of schools right now all across the country and obviously around the world. And so every one of them is going to have a different target market of who is that ideal family that's going to fit really, really well inside the school. Hey, School Success Makers, Mitchell here. I just want to take a really quick break from the show to give a big, huge shout out to the Herzog Foundation. I absolutely love the Herzog Foundation. I've been friends and partners with them for a couple years now, but we're bringing it to a whole new level. And I'm excited to share that our very own School Success Podcast is now featured on the Herzog Foundation Podcast Network. The Herzog Foundation is a powerhouse of resources designed to support schools like yours, from free training events through the Herzog Foundation Institute to their incredible online news publication, The Lion, and of course, our new podcast, Home. They have everything you need to stay informed and inspired. And if you're dreaming of starting your own Christian school or co-op, don't miss their online course, Schoolbox. It's a fantastic resource to help you get started on the right foot. At School Success, we're proud to partner with the Herzog Foundation to bring you these valuable tools and insights. So visit herzogfoundation.com to explore all they have to offer. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on these amazing opportunities for growth and success. And I love all the people over there, and I know you guys will too. So please go check them out, and you won't be disappointed. Now, back to the show. Like if you're a Montessori school and you're out there marketing, but you're marketing to people who don't even like Montessori or know what Montessori is, it's going to be a way harder sell instead of trying to target people that know Montessori, have heard of Montessori. It's going to make it a lot easier. If you're a Christian school and you're out there marketing and you're saying, hey, we want, obviously there's 2 different types of Christian schools out there. You got covenantal schools, which are ones that you have to be a Christian to go to the school, or you can be a missional school, which is where you don't have to be a Christian to go to the school. And so that's going to change the way you market. It's going to change some of the wording you use on your website, your marketing materials. And this goes across all different types of schools. If you know who you're trying to reach, you can change your marketing to speak directly to them. Because when you guys are working on this, you want to make sure you pretend like you're advertising to one. Because if you're advertising to one, that's the best. If you're advertising to many, then you're not advertising to anybody at all, because it's too broad. You have to be specific. And so think about, who is that you want at your school? Is it, think about some of the things maybe from the surveys, if we kind of tie in episode 1 to now this episode 2, of if coming up on your surveys over and over again is people want a bilingual program, or they would like longer PE, or maybe just PE in general or something, you can say, all right, we're going to add that into the persona. Like we have a whole bunch of families that have said the same thing on maybe a specific survey. So we're going to bring that into what we do here at the school and say, hey, this is who we are. This is what we're about. And you kind of build that into that persona that you want. Now, obviously, if you're a school that's starting out, a lot of schools start usually with maybe just kindergarten or kindergarten through 2nd, 3rd grade. Well, that marketing is going to be a little bit different because you're not marketing to high school families. You're marketing to elementary families. And so that is going to be a little bit different. So you need to know your persona. So I can't do this for you, of course, and some people in your school might not be able to just do it all by themselves. You kind of have to get together with your leadership team or your board of directors and figure out, hey, who is that target persona for our school? What's the age range of that family? Who are the students? What are they interested in? Where do they live? All of these things go into play of like, who are they? Because once you know who you're trying to get, now you can actually do the marketing to get them to your school or hear about your school. Because this is like marketing kind of 101. But if you're trying to get people who love swimming, just as a really random example that just popped in my head. If you're like, I really want to get people that love swimming, so we're going to go to the track and field area and we're going to advertise there. No, you would go around to the local pool places and advertise at the local county swimming pools or the local high schools that have swimming pools, because that's where they are. You're going to advertise where they are. But if you don't know who you're trying to get, then you don't know where to advertise and what to do with your specific marketing. Because marketing is very broad. As if you guys have heard this podcast for a while, heard me talk, or maybe you work with us as one of our clients, like you hear me talk about this all the time. Marketing is very, very broad. There's a lot of things going into marketing. It's how you communicate during school tours. That's part of your marketing. It's your social media is part of your marketing. So there's so much to it that you want to make sure you're doing it in the right way and not wasting time. And of course, not wasting money and resources marketing to people who are not in your target market or your target persona. So I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but what I want you guys to do is either pause this episode or go back, kind of re-listen to it with your board of directors, with your leadership team, and think about, okay, who do we want? Who is our target market? And sit down and literally write it down. If you need to, bring in some AI like ChatGPT or something to say, hey, like this is our school, like help us with coming up with a target persona of who we should be looking out for, who should we be marketing to, and see what it comes up with. Maybe it's like completely off. Well, give it some other prompts and try it again. Or maybe you're like, whoa, that does sound like who we have. And you should be able to read it and go, yes, that is the family we want. Or man, those are the families we have inside our school right now. And you just couldn't really put maybe words with what that is or who they are, how it looks or anything like that. And it'll write it and go, yes, that's who we want. So then you're able to take that. You can then write maybe some different web copy. If you're making new brochures or rack cards, print those out for the enrollment season. Or if you got people coming in for school tours, you know some of the different things to say specifically in those school tours to speak to what your target persona is looking for. Again, if they're looking for something specific, and you never mention it, but maybe you do offer it, you just never mention it or talk about it, how are they supposed to know that that's important to you or that you even offer that at the school? So all that comes into play for all this. So I know a lot of you are going through, you're going to have hundreds of school tours that are going to be coming into your school. I don't want you guys to miss out on the opportunity to share some of the really important things about your school and what you guys are about, what you offer and what you do. So sit down, take some time, drink a couple cups of coffee, chill, and think about what's that target persona for our school, write it down, and then use it. Obviously, use it and see what a difference that'll make as you guys are using to push it out for your marketing this year. And then I would love to hear how it goes. So Hey, I just want to take a really quick break from the podcast to highlight one of our amazing partners and sponsors, ClassReach. If you're a new school administrator or founder and are struggling to keep up with all the hassles of planting a new school, like collecting tuition, communicating with parents, or handling student data, then you need ClassReach. ClassReach is the all-in-one software that helps with everything from admissions and tuition to classroom management and parent communications. Sign up for a free consultation with one of their school specialists and see how ClassReach can help your school grow today. You guys can check them out online, classreach.com. They are a kingdom-minded company, and I love their leadership team there. I've become friends with a lot of them. They truly are a great company. I support them, and I love them, and you guys will love them too. Check them out at classreach.com. Now, back to the show. How you can do that, a couple things. We always want to plug in our 3 free resources for you guys who are listeners. First one is, of course, what you're doing right now. This is a free podcast, dropping episodes every Monday. So please make sure you're coming back every week to get those. And if you haven't subscribed, we want to make sure you're subscribed because you'll get notified when these episodes drop. And if you love the content, we'd love a 5-star review from you guys as well. The second thing we do is a school success report, goes out every week. Want to make sure you guys are getting that in your inbox every single week as well. You can find that at our website, schoolsuccessmakers.com. schoolsuccessmakers.com. In the top right-hand corner, there's a button you can click to get the school success report. Our team does a really good job putting together articles. We do some shout outs from our podcast in there as well. And there's some fun things we have planned for the podcast. We just want to make sure you're not missing that as well. And then the last one is our free community on Facebook called School Success Makers. We want to make sure you guys are in there as well. I'm personally in there, and I'd love to see you in there as well. You can ask questions, get to know some of the other school leaders in there. But this is where I'd love for you guys to put in there, what is your target persona? Go put it in the chat and or the group and see. Maybe everybody else will share what theirs is and get some feedback from others in there. And I can give some advice as well as you guys put it in there and say, hey, here's who we're targeting. Maybe get some tips from everybody like, hey, this is who we're going after, but how should I market to them better or do things differently? And you'll get some different ideas. I was teaching a couple webinars a week or two ago and had almost like 100 schools that were on these webinars and loved to hear their insights and what they were talking through to say, hey, this is what we're doing. And then I kind of just opened it up to them, go, hey, how about you answer some of these questions that some of the schools are asking? Because they're living it day in and day out, and they could really speak into some of the things that the schools were having. That's what community is for, and that's why we created the Facebook group, School Success Makers. So please join that one or join another one that's out there. There's lots of communities out there. We just want to make sure you're around good community that's pouring into you, loving you, and encouraging you because you need that. You guys are awesome. And we'll be back here next week with week 3 of this series that we're in for the marketing and enrollment period that you guys are in. So we'll be back here next week with another awesome episode on the School Success Podcast. We'll see you then. The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Herzog Foundation.